Hello, everybody. You just imagine if somebody is interested to play football and when you enter to the playground, then the situation is there is no goal post. How it is possible to play without any goal post? So nowadays, the education is also going that in the form of without any target, without any goal. So if it is no goal or no target or no aim or no objective, then that situation is really tough for the player, for the executor, for the performer. So this is pathetic situation in education also. So we need some sort of target or some sort of aim what we want to do. If we are not able to understand what we are going to do, then it is very difficult to move further. So, in our topic today, we are going to discuss about that outcome-based education. So, in education also, the same scenario is happens without goal. It is not possible to impart the data or impart the knowledge from teachers to the students. So let us see that what is that outcome based education and how it is helpful for achieving the goal. Before moving to the further, we must know what is education. Education is the process of training people's minds and abilities so that they acquire the knowledge and develop skills. And the fundamentals, education has three different components or three different sector. One is the curriculum, next one is teaching learning process, the third one is assessment. The curriculum is nothing but planning something to do. The teaching learning process is nothing but execution methodology. The assessment is nothing but what the level we achieved, what the level we have acquired the knowledge. That is process is called it's the assessment process. Conventionally, it almost 20 years back, our teaching methods is very conventional and a traditional form. It's just like a gurukulas. The teacher only speak and the learners will just observe that information. Then what happens in this problem, in this situation? After some times, the learners are highly passive condition, so no learning process takes place. So we move to that another approach that is a learner directed method. So here the participation of learners is also improved. We improved that methodology, different methodology we adopted to get that maximum knowledge transfer. So how it is possible? We have that learner-centric approach now. The earlier conventional method is called it's a teacher-centric method, and now we followed that learner-centric method in the outcome-based education. The major difference between the two approaches, like a teacher-centric approach and the learner-centric approach, it is classified like this. In a teacher-centric approach, what the teachers expects students to know and be able to do at the end of the instruction, at the end of the teaching. This is in the teacher-centric approach. But in that learner-centric approach, what the students are be able to do at the end of the instructions. In the specific form, it is happen in the specifically how the students, what the students can do after the instructions. That is in the learner-centric approach. The teacher-centric approach has its only objectives, and the learner-centric approach is based on outcomes. And the teacher-centric approach, the students' participation is passive. So there is no participation of students. The students are just a listener. But in the learner-centric approach, the students' participation is active because they are also involved in the teaching learning process. So it is converted to learning process. And the teacher centric approach, the knowledge transmitted from the instruction, from the teacher, from the higher authority. But in the learner centric approach, the knowledge is constructed by the students itself. They are constructed the knowledge. In teacher-centric approach, the role of the teacher is just authority. Whatever he is going to say, you have to just follow that. But in the learner-centric approach, the role of the teacher is a facilitator, learning partner, and co-partner, co-learner. And in the teacher-centric approach, the assessment method is always it's a one-dimensional because it is based on the with respect to the teacher's perception. But in the learner-centric approach, the assessment is a multi-dimensional. So it is the combination of the different portions. So 360s level of assessment is possible only in the learner-centric approach. So learner-centric approach is very effective compared to the teacher-centric method. So the learner-centric method is based on the outcomes. So then education is now move forward to the outcome-based education. That is, we call it as OBE. Let us see the history of the outcome-based education. The term OBE was first presented by William Spady in 1994. It is introduced in his book, Outcome-Based Education, Critical Issues and Answers. Actually, this OBE first introduced in the school level of American countries. In school level, they introduced. And after that, in 1997, the Accreditation Board of Engineering and Technology, USA, has adopted the same technology or methodology, OBE, for the engineering education in 1997. They adopted, and that OBE is coming forward to the world for the next generations. So outcome-based education is approach to education in which decisions about the curriculum, instructions, and assessments are driven by the exit learning outcome that the students should demonstrate at the end of the program or the course. So the education has three different parameters, three different sector. One is a curriculum, teaching learning, and assessment. If the outcome is combined with the curriculum, teaching learning, and assessment, then the entire system is called its outcome-based education. In OBE, it is a product defines process. It is the opposite of input-based education, where the emphasis is on the teaching and the system is happy to accept whatever is the result. The advantages of outcome-based education is clarity, provision of a framework, guide for assessment, facilitates curriculum education. The clarity means the explicit statement of what the educational process aims to achieve. So clarifies the curriculum for both students and teachers and provides the focus for teaching and learning. The provision of framework, OBE provides a robust framework for integration of the curriculum. And guide for the assessment, the outcome provide the framework for the students' examination and evaluation. The facilitates curriculum education. The outcome provides against which curriculum can be judged. And the features of the outcome-based education is should ambiguously state what the students should be able to do or perform. And what the students do or perform are observable and measurable. Students should be able to understand what is means. And students be able to provide guidance to students in planning their learning. As per outcome-based education, the students learn well when it is possible, when they are clear about what they should be able to do at the end of the course. Assessment is an alignment with what they are expected to do. Instructional activities are designed and conducted to facilitate them to acquire what they are expected to achieve. So generally, outcome-based education for accreditation. The accreditation is nothing but to measuring the minimum standards for the particular skills. So we told you, we studied that the outcome-based education has a three components. One is a curriculum, teaching learning process, and assessment. If our curriculum is based on the outcome, then that type of curriculum is called outcome-based curriculum. In this outcome-based curriculum, what the student should be able to do, that is stated in the outcome-based education, outcome-based curriculum clearly. In the outcome-based teaching learning process, how to make the students achieve the outcomes. We defined the outcomes in the outcome-based curriculum, and that planning, that outcome, how we are going to achieve based on the outcome. Then the teaching methodology is also slightly modified based on that. Then that type of teaching learning process is called, it's outcome-based teaching learning process. The next one, the planning is over, execution is over, and then we must check whether the execution is completed based on that plan, what we planned. So that is called its assessment. If the assessment is based on the outcome, that assessment is called outcome-based assessment. The outcome-based assessment is how to measure what the students has achieved. So we must know what are the students, whether it is achieved or not, whether that what we planned is executed or not. That type of assessment is called outcome-based assessment. These three, outcome-based curriculum, outcome-based teaching learning process, and outcome-based assessment, these three is a combination, is called its outcome-based education. This outcome-based education is mainly for the accreditations. In conclusion, the outcome-based education is a clear understanding about that what we are going to learn, how we are going to learn, whether you learned correctly or not. These are the steps is available in the outcome-based education. So you must identify the outcomes, plan the learning, and then learning process it takes place, and observe the practices. And if you want to adjust the practice, then you, based on the feedback, you make the assessment, and based on the assessment output, you can slightly modify or change the identifying the outcomes. So outcome based education is very effective, and the last 20 years, the entire engineering education and any other skills based educations are concentrating on the outcome based education. Thank you very much.